Guys, and welcome to our next example of Visual Basic. Today we'll be looking into the for and next statement. So what is for and next statement? For and next statement is just another form of loop which we have previously covered in our if and else statement. So what it does, it repeats a group of statement over a specific number of times. So in this example, we will just look into the code first, exactly what does it mean. So when you actually define a certain counter as a certain data type and it needs to have a range that from starting range to the ending range. So for a certain data type, for a variable that has a data type that starts from this point to that point, it executes the statements in that loop, and that's pretty much how it works. And in the continue for and exit for clause, in under this clause is just most of the time being used to skip uh, a certain variable or a certain statement under certain condition. So that is what is actually being used for, but we're not going to be using this in this example. And once the loop has been done, and then it straight goes out as the next counter of the data. So using this for and next statement, we will look into an example which is the multiplication table, where the user has to input a desired number, and the number can be any number as long as it's a positive or a negative integer. It doesn't matter, and it needs to have a starting range, which is the starting range and the ending range. And once you have that information, it displays the whole value of the multiplication table in the rich text box. So now we're just going to be looking into the example. So as you can see here, I have already made beforehand how the multiplication table would look like. So as you can see here, it has three labels that I have already labeled them as input number, starting, and end data. And it has all this text box. So text box 1 for input, text box 2 for start, and text box 3 for end. And it has two buttons that will be helping us to calculate and clear the values of the rich text box. So the values will be displayed here in the rich text box. So now we're going to be looking into the code. And yes, okay. So now we have this. What we're going to do is we need to display the results in the rich text box. So we need to declare the variable result as integer, and we need to display the input. So we need to declare the input as integer, which is the value from text box 1 text. Now since we have these two, we need to define another one more variable that has the starting range and the ending range. So that's where we're going to start use the for and next statement. So for, I'm just going to use the value x as integer equals to the starting value that we're going to be using here is the text box 2. So we're going to put in as text box 2 text 2, text box 3, which is the end range text, and you click enter, and you can see here that the next has already been formed, which is the end of the loop. And what we need to do is we need to write in the formula result is equals to x multiply by input. So this is the formula that will be repeated over and over as x goes from the input of text box 2 to a text box 3, which is the start range and the end range. And once you have this, we just need to display the result in rich text box 1. So rich text box 1 append text, and we just need to put in the semicolon here, and we just need to put in the values of result. Since we have a starting range, I'm just going to put in here as x to string, and then we need to put in the multiply sign, which is the x, plus again, and input to string, because the value is an integer, so we need to put it to string, plus with equal sign class with and the result to string. So the rich text box should display x multiplied by the input, and it should gives out the result to string. So let's take a look and see how does this thing works. So we have this input number, we're going to put it as 2. The starting range is 1 and 12. This is usually the standard way of a multiplication number running from 1 to 12. And then we calculate, and you can see here that the value is being displayed, but it's not really in a very correct way. So I'm just going to stop the application, and I just need to put in one more function into the rich text box, which is the VB new line. So when I put in the VB new line, what it does, it helps to skip the next line to print out the next statement. As the next statement comes in, it's just going to skip to the next line and print out statement. So let's see how this thing works. We press start, and we're going to put in number 2 starting as 1 and 12, and there you go. There you actually have the multiplication table of 2. And of course we need to put in the clear button as well, so that to clear the values from all this. So we just need to go in and look into the code, text box 1 clear, and it helps to clear the value of all the text box in the rich text box in. So we just need to put in as dot clear. So I'm just going to copy this and change this to text box 2 and text box 3. And of course we need to clear in the values of rich text box as well. Clear. So now if we run the thing, and this time I want to try a number of negative. I'm not sure if it's possible, but let's try it. Starts from 1 to 12, and you do have a value of multiplication with the negative value of 3, and if you press clear, it goes off. So you can keep on trying different values to get a different multiplication table, and of course you can try to modify this for and next loop according to what kind of examples that you want to try. But to me, I think using a multiplication table would be a very good example in explaining how you can use the for and next loop. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you guys enjoy this video.